Good morning and welcome to each of you. I'd like to call this meeting to order and start off. We'll be looking for approval of the agenda as it's been presented to us. So that's Councillor Bazinet, seconded by Councillor Goderich. Those in favor? That is carried. Is there any pecuniary interest that anyone needs to declare at this time? Seeing none, we will move on to the minutes of our previous meeting. And if it's suitable, I'd be looking for a motion to adopt the minutes. So it's past Warden McNeil and seconded by Councillor McClellan. Those in favor? That is carried. And we have Nathan with us from the Asabo Bayfield Conservation Authority to present the annual report on the Huron Clean Water Project. So welcome, Nathan.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Ward and members of Huron County Council. I'm Nathan Scler. I'm the Stewardship Lands and Education Manager for Asabo Bayfield Conservation Authority. Through that role, I have the opportunity to work with the County of Huron in various capacities, one of that being the Huron Clean Water Project, which we're here to talk about today. So I'm not going to spend too much time on the background. Many of our councillor members and our warden are familiar with the background, but I do want to bring some attention to the committee. We have a very well-rounded committee, very productive meetings, good conversation, number of backgrounds, and at times the committee does leave us asking the question or answering the question with, that is a good question. And so that really speaks volumes to our ability to work back and forth together and discuss these projects. So in 2025, we had Councillor Goderich as the chair, Councillor McClellan, we're our Huron County Council representatives. Jack Crows was our agricultural representative, and Joy Rutherford was our community at large representative. We met 5 times in 2025 to look at projects. Since the beginning of the project, it's been going on since 2004, so just over 20 years. We've accomplished an astounding 4,325 projects across the county of Huron. That's been over 1,000 wells upgraded or decommissioned, more than 1,200 tree planting projects, 50,000 acres of cover crops, and other projects that are completed by landowners across the county with the support of the Huron Clean Water Project. One stat I do want to bring your attention to is that every dollar invested in the Huron Clean Water Project by the County of Huron has been matched with $2.66. What does this mean? If we look back up to that top line, $18.5 million project value with an investment of about $5 million by the county. That means there's been over $18 million in dollars change hands in the county through invoices, with less than a third of that being supported by the County of Huron. That really speaks volumes to this program's ability to drive the local economy, because everybody within the County of Huron plays some role within these projects and the stewardship. From farm supply companies selling cover crop seeds, heavy equipment operators constructing wells, constructing erosion control projects, our well contractors. The program really has the ability to not only make environmental and water quality improvements, but be a local economic driver as well. In 2025, we saw continued interest in the program. We reviewed 285 applications with 279 of the applications being approved. We're approving a large volume of these because the staff are doing a job in vetting many of these projects before they get to the committee. And so we can be more effective and make sure projects are in line with the guidelines when they come to the committee. There was a $500,000 application or allocation within 2025, and we came in within 0.2% of that overall budget in 2025, speaking volumes to the interest that there is. And again, we saw very, very strong financial leverage in 2025, with every dollar invested by the county matched with $2.25 across the county. Several of our top categories, the cover crop category remains a popular one. We covered over 8,000 acres of cover crops of land in 2025 with overwinter cover crops, protecting the land from losing valuable sediment and nutrients during the off-season period. We had 125 projects approved, and we continue to see new applicants every year. Tree planting and naturalization remains a popular one. We had 81 projects planting over 23,000 trees in 2025. And all the types of tree planting we're doing on the landscape might be shifting away from some of the larger reforestation of past times and more towards windbreaks. It remains a critical part of the program and is very appreciated by landowners. And the invasive species management. This is a new category in 2025, but it's not new work under the program. What this is was a consolidation of invasive species management that fell under different categories into one category for better clarity to landowners, so people are better aware that they're available and there's support through the program for this type of work. And we saw interest with this. 20 projects in 2025 managing a number of different invasive species across the county. And this one brought a lot of recognition beyond just the region of the Huron to the region of Huron. In 2025, we were designated as a Phragmites management area through one of the provincial programs. If you may recall, Ben Van Dieten provided this annual report last year and spoke to the pending grant application for about $26,000. We were successful in that one, and I'm excited to update you that we have a subsequent application because they appreciated that one so much they designated us a Phragmites management area, and so we have a pending application of $93,000 for funds to support Phragmites management in the county of Huron. Funds that aren't possible without the support of programs like this to leverage those external dollars to the local environment. Our delivery and outreach, we try and meet people where we're at. One-on-one technical site visits. We have a diverse team. The Huron Clean Water Project isn't just 2 people doing this. It's a number of people at both conservation authorities working hand in hand with landowners so they get access to the best expertise for the project at hand. We diversify our outreach messaging and our communications from print articles to online to in-person events, and there's a number of the different communication pieces that we've done there. Kudos to the County of Huron's communication staff. They did a fantastic job updating the website. I would encourage you all to check it out if you haven't already, and there's a number of different landowners featured on the website now as well. And this is a good news story. Another example of Huron doing what it does best, and it's leading by example. In recent years, the Huron Clean Water Project has supported the development of similar programs in adjacent counties. So in 2025, we work closely with the County of Lambton to share our resources and our expertise, and so they could build a program modeled off the Huron County, recognizing the success that it's been. So County of Lambton and the County of Perth have both done that, and there's some very appreciative comments from staff at the County of Lambton shared on that slide there. This slide is an overview of the proposed categories. I understand there's a report within your agenda package that speaks to this. By and large, it's status quo. There are some changes just to continue to try to prioritize those new applicants through the cover crop incentive category is one of the primary changes. And with that, thank you very much for your support. It is a privilege to work with this program.
Thank you for that, Nathan, for that report for the past year. I'm going to go to council if there's any questions that you would have of Nathan regarding the Huron Clean Water Project. Councillor Harding, please.
I'm really glad to hear your presentation today. And in Howick Township, we have a lot of manure tanks that need decommissioning. And some of them have been done right and other ones just have weeds growing out of them. So I hope that some more projects in Howick come to fruition and we see that. My big concern is about the conservation areas being threatened with what they're able to do. And I know we don't like these double services, but I sure hope that we don't end up with that super conservation area they're talking about. Thank you for all your support.
Thank you.
Anything else? Councillor Heffer, please.
Yes. Thank you, Nathan, for your report there. I just appreciate when you're driving around, you see the big signs up of the work that's gone on. And I know some of those trees are the 20-year-old trees. You just go south of Belgrave a little bit and you see a big sign there. But the work that has done held everything in place there. It's really appreciated. So I accept this as a motion to accept the report.
Then we're right at the place where we have a motion to receive this report. Do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Harding. Any further discussion? Those in favor? That is carried. Councillor Dietrich, please. No? Okay. All right. Nathan, thank you for the report.
Thank you.
We are at the point in our agenda where we're looking for councillor comments. Past Warden McLellan, please.
Thank you, Mr. Warden. I apologize if I missed it, but I just want to let you know I did not have any declarations of pecuniary interest today.
Thank you for making us aware of that. Our clerk will appreciate that.
You're not allowed to.
I'm very sure I did. Okay. I have some witnesses to back that up, so. But, and a recording. Pass the word again, please.
Yeah, just a question actually for CAO. We were notified of a training session called To the Finish Line. That date conflicts with the Great Lakes St. Lawrence Cities Conference. I didn't know if there was a possibility of moving these dates or if that's fixed in stone, and just what exactly is that training session's purpose?
Yeah, so through you, Mr. Warden, the purpose is to work with council to develop a work plan for now through to when the election is. So we as a staff are working through the budget process. There could be significant changes in what our work plans are going to be between now and the end of the term of council. So to the finish line is what we are calling the end of this term of council. So I can take a look at it. However, coordinating everyone's schedules this time of year, it might be difficult to change, but certainly that's noted. There will be a significant amount of that 2 days. We'll actually be working with staff as well. So there is a portion that's for council, but the majority of that will actually be working with staff to come up with the work plans based on whatever the outcomes of the budget is.
Okay, any other councillor comments? All right, we have a consent agenda in front of us. Is there anything on that list that anyone would like to pull out and speak to? And seeing none, then I'd be looking for a motion to receive the consent agenda. That's Councillor Becker, Councillor Basnet seconding that. Those in favor? That is carried. We are at the planning part of our meeting. So Victor, welcome. And once you're geared up and ready, you go ahead and lead us through this.
Thank you, Warden and members of County Council. We're here today to discuss file C62-2025 at 70289 Goshen Line. The applicant is Andy Glavin, and Matt Runge was acting on his behalf. The subject property is shown on this map. For those of you who aren't down in South Huron often, wanted to make sure you understood that this is essentially in the middle of the western portion of South Huron. West of Crediton, south of Dashwood. And this is the subject property. This is an existing 3-acre AG4 parcel. The property owner wishes to sever it in half, creating a new residential building lot for sale. The north portion would be 1.5 acres and the south portion would be 1.5 acres. This is their concept plan for the subject property. So you can see that they can fit 2 residential dwellings on the property, the septic systems, and an accessory building for each. And these are some photos of the subject property. So this would be the new parcel. It's to the south of the existing home. You can see there's some play equipment on that property. It's grassed in the summertime when it's not blanketed under snow. And this is the existing home. We have brought this to the municipality of South Huron, who have provided comments on the application. There are conditions recommended by South Huron staff that have been incorporated into the recommended conditions should County Council approve this application. South Huron Council did review this application and ultimately recommended it for denial by the county. We've also received comments from the Huron County Federation of Agriculture on this proposal. The Federation of Agriculture emphasized the importance of protecting our prime agricultural areas from incompatible land uses and raised their concerns about residential lots in the prime ag area, increasing the potential incidence of land use conflict, complaints about odor, noise, dust. They also flagged that the provincial planning statement only permits lot creation in prime agricultural areas in specific situations. and that form of land division can increase demands on infrastructure for local municipalities and increase non-farm traffic on our side roads. And they flagged their overall concern that we're losing agricultural land in Ontario and that the agricultural lands in Huron County need to be protected. For the planning review, any application for consent must conform to the Planning Act. It must be consistent with the provincial planning statement, and it must conform to the Huron County and the local official plan. The provincial planning statement prohibits creating new residential lots in the prime ag area, except a residence surplus to a farming operation. This is not a surplus residential severance. This is just a residential lot creation in the prime ag area. So there's no provincial policy support for this proposal. This policy direction is also included in the Huron County and the South Huron official plan. The South Huron official plan explicitly says that there will be no consents allowed that create a use not directly related to agriculture, and non-farm rural residential lots will not be allowed. This is essentially fundamental to how we do our planning for residential growth in Huron County. The implications of scattered residential development throughout the prime agricultural area are the potential for increased land use conflict. It contributes to a less efficient use of land and service delivery rather than directing those new residential units to our service settlement areas. It increases reliance on vehicle travel and the potential for greenhouse gas emissions. And it undermines the infrastructure investments that are being made in service settlement areas as are going on in South Huron currently. This proposal would be contrary to the goals, objectives, and policies of the province as stated in the Planning Act and the provincial planning statement, the county from the Huron County official plan, and the municipality of South Huron included in the South Huron official plan. And for those reasons, as it's not consistent with the provincial planning statement, does not conform to the policies of the county official plan and the South Huron official plan, and does not meet the requirements of the Planning Act, including sections 2, 3, sub 5, and 51 sub 24, I'm recommending denial of the proposal. And I'm happy to take any questions.
Okay, thank you for the report, Victor. So we are now entering the part of the meeting where members of the public can make comments. Anyone that wishes to speak that is joining us by Zoom can do so using the raised hand feature. And if you're in person, of course, you can just raise your hand. So I'm going to start. If there's anyone wishing to speak in opposition to this application. And Clerk Cronin, are you aware of anybody wishing to do that?
I see no one that wishes to speak in opposition of this application at this time.
And is there anyone wishing to speak in favor of this application? Clerk Cronin?
I see no one that wishes to speak in favor of this application at this time.
And the applicant, Mr. Glavin, is with us. Mr. Glavin, were you wanting to speak to the application? Yep.
Oh, thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of county. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here today. The thing, I know I submitted a letter with my application. The biggest thing I noticed is when I considered the ARU rules that I thought the difference between a modest severance and that was next to a zero impact. So I just wanted you to consider that. And I wanted to be in front of you guys in case I could try and answer any questions. But if you get technical on me, I would have to defer to Victor.
Okay, thank you for that. And I'm going to actually go to council now, starting with the representatives from South Huron, if there's anything they wanted to add.
Yeah, thank you to the warden. I'll tell you, Andy's an excellent resident that we have in South Huron. Council did deny the application, not based on who he is, of course, but based on the principles of the provincial policy statement. I can't say enough good things about Mr. Glavin or Mr. Runge, who's the applicant in this, and the owner, Mr. Glavin, like I say. But we struggle with it. I know I struggle with it. I read it several times, and I thought, is there a way we can make this happen? But there really by definition, and Victor did a great job on this. I just couldn't, in my own good conscience, approve it. But again, I want to state very clearly the credibility of Mr. Glavin for applying.
All right. Now I'm going to go to council if there's any input from council on this. So, Councillor Klopp, please.
Thank you. No surprise here, I suppose. I believe that the lower tiers are capable of following their policies, making decisions based on individual issues. And if this would be in blue water, I respect that the other municipalities also allow us to make those decisions as tough as they can be sometime. And I concur with if the lower tier says it should be denied, then that's their decision. I support it.
Okay. Any other comments on this application? If there is no other comments, then I would be looking for a motion to be put forward by council. Past Warden McClellan, please.
I would move the recommended motion in the agenda.
Okay. Is there a seconder for that? Councillor Heffer would second that. Last chance before I call that question. I don't see any further discussion, so those in favor of that motion, that motion is carried. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Glavin. And Victor, I do believe you would have a follow-up motion for us.
Sorry, make sure my microphone's on. So for the motion on the effect of public and agency comments, I would be recommending 6A and 6B as shown on the screen.
6A and 6B. Do I have mover? That is past Warden McNeil, and Councillor Noel is seconding that. Those in favor? That is carried. Thank you, Victor, for bringing us that information. And Denise is here and available for questions if anyone had any questions regarding the battery energy storage system report that was presented to us. Past Warden McClellan, please.
Thank you, Mr. Warden. Thank you very much for the report, Denise. And I 100% agree with the fact that if in fact we do allow battery storages, we don't want them on agricultural land, certainly not prime agricultural land. The unfortunate part is the technology is changing so much, and the report didn't catch everything that is happening in the world nowadays. Salt battery storage, which is a system that they claim cannot catch on fire. It does not use rare minerals. So they have actually, that caused lithium to drop drastically in the stock market over the last few months because this new technology has now beat them in price and storageability and is a lot safer system. And at CES this year, the Consumer Electronics Show, a company by the name of Donut came out with the first solid state battery, which has been talked about for 2 decades. They actually have one. There's a company that has switched over and started putting those in their vehicles as of this year, first quarter. They're switching completely over to them. So there are no liquids, no lithium, no ion. They claim they cannot catch fire because they're very similar to a capacitor, which has been used in electrical items for over 100 years. So the technology is changing. So from the standpoint of the report, where concerns of fire and things like that, those things, technology is catching up and kind of going by the wayside. But as far as the report talks about the fact that don't put it on agricultural land, I agree with that 100%. But I think if in fact another municipality gets approached, they really want to look hard at the technology that they're talking about, because I do believe these are becoming a lot safer system than what was offered a couple of years ago. Thank you.
Thank you for those comments. Any other questions for Denise?
Move the report.
Okay, thank you for that. Do I have a seconder? That's Councillor Finch. Those in favor? That is carried. Thank you, Denise. And Rachel White is available to answer questions if you have any on the Huron Clean Water Project categories update. Councillor Dietrich.
Thank you. Thank you, Rachel, for the report. There's been, as you can see, there's been one change for sure. And I think it's under the crop, cover crop. The reason that was done, and Rachel can maybe speak a little more to this, we were trying to get more newer people to try this out. So I think it's great. So we'll see what happens moving forward. Thank you, Rachel.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Past Warden Ginn, please.
Yeah, thanks. Just speaking to the cover crops and the importance of that, and just one statistic I heard once I'd just like to share with County Council, and that is if we lose a pound of dirt off an acre of land, so everybody can visualize a pound of butter, if we lose that much dirt, we've got a problem in our lakes. So that's how difficult it is to keep the water in our Great Lakes clean. It's one of the greatest resources, and I think we have to try everything that we can to help that out. So that's what cover crops do, and I think it's important that we continue with it.
Thanks for those comments. Councillor Klopp, please.
When you apply, is it as an applicant, you get it one time only? You can't keep reapplying every year for the program, correct?
And Rachel will answer that.
You can keep applying to the cover crop category. The idea was to incentivize people to try something new. So part of the guidelines in the category require a 3-species mix for cover crops, other than for late season crops. Taking off late season crops where cereal rye would be the only appropriate cover crop following corn or soy. So the idea was that there is repeat applicants, but if there were, for instance, more applicant need than the funding would allow in a given year, then new applicants would be awarded the grant and repeat applicants would get to try again the next year.
Just as a comment then, a lot of these programs were probably started by the province because of low income for farmers, and instead of pushing for maybe better programs and they can decide where they spend their money, clearly farmers over the years have been trying to plow up more to try to make a living. These programs were incentivized to try to show that, and just pointed out the fact that if you can't figure it out already as a farmer that you should be using cover crops, then I guess the only reason they're making application for this is because they get some money. And clearly it's their benefit to either plant some hay, rotate, or whatever. So I just want to keep that in mind as we go forward. It's been a good program. I get it. But at the end of the day, if they haven't figured out now, the only reason they're applying for this is to get us some money, then they're not getting it. So just keep that in mind.
Okay, any other comments? Not seeing any other comments, so I'd be looking for a motion to receive the approved changes. So that's Councillor McLellan, Councillor Goderich seconding that. Those in favor? That is carried. Thank you for joining us, Rachel. We're going to move on to the Museum Collections deaccession report, and Beth is available for questions if you would have any questions on that. And if there's no questions, then I'd be looking for a motion to receive this report. And that's Past Warden Ginn and Councillor Basnet seconding that. Those in favor? That is carried. And Lubitsa is available for questions under the smoking and vaping bylaw update. If anybody has questions for her. Seeing none, this is a lengthy motion, but I think we've all understood that. So Lubitsa gets the prize for the longest motion in today's agenda. Past Warden McNeil would move this motion, seconded by Councillor Bazinet. Those in favor, that is carried. Some proposed updates to the procedural bylaw, and Susan is available for questions regarding this report. Seeing no questions, I'd be looking for a motion to receive this report. So it's Councillor Anderson, Councillor Heffer seconding that. Those in favor, that is carried. Proposed amendments to the coyote nuisance control compensation bylaw. Again, Susan is available for questions. Councillor Klopp, please.
I'd like to move the recommendation.
Okay, motion made. Councillor Finch is seconding that. Those in favor? That is carried.
Could I have one comment, please?
You just about missed that train.
I know, you were too quick. I'd just like to thank Susan for all her hard work on behalf of Deputy Mayor Becker and I. This was initiated by some issues in Blue Water, and you wonder sometimes she really works hard. I'll have to say she really works hard with our clerk. There was a lot of hours put on this, and I appreciate all of council. I think it will be a benefit for everybody, but I appreciate that and want to just make that noted.
Those comments are always allowed. Okay.
Okay. Strategic priorities chart. Is there any questions for Megan regarding the priorities chart? Do I have someone willing to receive that report as well? And that's Councillor Vanstone, Past Warden Ginn, seconding that. Those in favor? That is carried. Is there anything under correspondence that anybody wants to draw attention to? Councillor Bazinet, please.
Yes, thank you. Through you, Mr. Warden. Item 12.3, Town of Saugeen Shores, resolution regarding Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority. I would make a motion to support that.
And do I have a seconder for that motion? Past Warden Ginn, seconding that. Those in favor? And that is carried. Anything else on that list that anybody wants to speak to? Then we'd be looking for motion to receive the rest not being specifically dealt with for information. Councillor Becker, Councillor Anderson seconding that. Those in favor? That is carried. Is there any new or unfinished business? Any notice of motion today? So we are at the point where you can take a look at the upcoming meetings, make sure that you know when and where you should be. And with that, I'd be looking for someone to confirm our actions this morning. That's Councillor Harding, seconded by Councillor Vanstone. Those in favor? That is carried. Would you like to adjourn us? Yes, Councillor Dietrich, Councillor Heffer. Those in favor of adjournment, that is carried. Thank you for your attention to the details this morning.